Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's a guy who never needs a tape review, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live show. We are live after the first eviction of Big Brother 16. Our top story at this hour, Joey Van Pelt and Alex both eliminated. Double elimination tonight here on the Big Brother, and we're going to break down everything, including the two new HOHs and the controversial booth review of the men's bracket of the HOH Challenge. It's going to be a very fun night. Here with us, as always, on a Thursday night. First, here's the man who is on top of all of the Big Brother live feeds all week long. Here's Brian Lynch.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all?
Brian, is it true that that you have been moving kegs into your house all summer long to watch the live feeds?
No, moving them out. Just drink them up and move them out.
Drink them out, move them out. And here's a man who has a keg filled with Diet Pepsi at his house, Mr. Ian Terry.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having me on. I think we got a lot to talk about this week. Really entertaining end of the episode there, and I don't think people should be so glum about this.
Why do you feel like people are glum?
Well, I think the vast majority of people want Devin out, and I think that this is actually going to lead to a pretty funny situation, much like what happened last year when Aaron won HOH and everyone was ticked off about it.
No, I don't want Devin out. I'm Team TV. We want Devin in the house.
I want good TV, but I think that if he ends up going this week, it will be the most epic case of HOH-itis and subsequent fall from grace we have ever seen in the history of the show.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great, and we're very pumped up for this. So we've got a lot to unpack here tonight. We've got the Joey stuff. We've got Devin as the HOH. Ian Terry also has a chart of all of the romances in the house, and we'll talk about that, plus some drama from the live feeds later on in the show. And, of course, take your questions here live on a Thursday night on Rob Has a Podcast. Of course, we've got the chat room going here on robhasawebsite.com. You could send us in your tweets with the hashtag RHAP, or you can post the questions on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. We always appreciate it. While you're there, if you want to favorite and like the videos, that's your option too, and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's get into this. Okay. Where do you want to start, guys? You want to start with the HOH or you want to start with Joey?
Let's just start with Joey. Get the boring stuff out of the way. Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way. Boy, if there ever was a night to not do a live eviction, boy, I could have used them, just tape recording those things and then just say, by a vote of 13-0, Joey, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the most foregone week one conclusion since Mike Lubinsky saw the door in BB5. I mean, it was just... I felt like I was just like, let's just get through it. I wish I like DVR and fast forward, just get it out of the way.
Boy, Julie Chen was really earning her money tonight. That she really had to go through every single person and try to conjure up some interest here of like, Hayden's been under the radar, but will he vote for like, oh boy, like we could have just. Yeah.
We're really, really stretching at that point. It's like, well, they're from the West Coast, and so is Joey, so maybe, or perhaps they'll just say the wrong name by accident. Like, they were really stretching.
Well, how about Amber? Did Amber say, I vote to evict Julie at first? That's not good.
She did. But I think they knew what was meant, so Joey, yeah.
Yeah. Brian, is that the opposite of when you go in there and say, you're looking good tonight, Julie? When you say, I vote to evict Julie, is that the opposite of that?
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder, why no one actually took the bait to just throw a vote at Pow Pow just to see if it could set Devin off.
Yeah, Ian, I was thinking that myself. If you're one of these people in a good position, why not throw a hinky vote out there?
I actually thought about this also. I think that if you've got that situation, I think it's kind of a layup. The only thing is, there's always that perpetual fear, right? That what if everybody has that idea and then suddenly Joey stays? But I always like it. So I would. I thought about it in 14, the week Frank was against Janelle, just to kick up who was the second vote. But ultimately, you just kind of bend to the will of the house.
Who do you think should have done that? Who is in the best position to drop the Hinky vote in there?
Oh man, Hinky vote. That I feel like someone like who would have been good. I think it could be a lot of people. I think that really anybody that wasn't like in the core could have just had a fun time there, or really, I mean, whoever wants to capitalize on it. Who wants to blame someone else for something else? That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I think it's sort of tricky because I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, Zach or Derek or one of these guys should do it. But at the same time, it's like, why do they really want to upset? Like this bomb squad is going to implode on its own.
Right.
Is there any need to accelerate that?
No, but I mean, I think that it would have been interesting to have seen happen. I still find it odd that really James Ryan is pretty much the only person to make good use of this strategy, and he did it very effectively and got Michael in Big Brother 6 evicted pretty easy, or he at least expedited the process, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
What's the right move if you did do a Hinky vote? Or do you be the person that's out there being like, hey, who voted for who? Or do you want to be the person, if you did the Hinky vote, do you want to be the person accusing everybody, or do you want to just act like you don't care that much? What's the right move call there?
I mean, I think act natural, but once someone says something about it, that's when you kind of say, well, what if it was so-and-so? I mean, that's just going to be you being a good actor. That's what that comes down to.
Got to be a good actor. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about Joey, because she had an eventful week. I'll say that for the first member of Team America. So she thought 7 was her lucky number. It's not. This is the 7th month of the year, of course, and she's evicted. I thought that her attempt to be Alex seemed misguided at the very best.
Oh yeah, I mean it was pretty awful. I mean, pretty standard play. I mean, if you're just gonna go, I guess
What was standard about it?
I mean, just someone that knows. She pretty much knew she was gonna go. I don't know that she thinks this is some sort of grand strategy that's gonna keep her. She's gonna go out with a bang. Pretty standard, I think, for someone that knows they're gonna get voted out. And W.C. Fields, as he once said, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS, and that's what we saw tonight, I suppose.
Brian, Julie Chen opened the show and said, some fans are calling Joey's gameplay the worst ever in Big Brother history. Would you co-sign that?
Well, no, because some fans were the house guests in the Big Brother 16 house, including Devin, and I don't think I ever want to co-sign anything and have my name right up next to Devin's.
Ian, would you co-sign that? Was Joey was that the worst gameplay ever?
The thing for me is it wasn't even like it was social, right? It wasn't like it was some sort of social, like, oh, she doesn't really fit in. It was just like she was just very strategically bad at it. It was really awful. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, they're the unpopular person in the house like we see with a lot of first boots. It was just that her strategy was just really bad. So she's pretty much, yeah, she's definitely up there for, in contention for the worst of all time. I think Andrew Gordon is, someone that comes up in the discussion a lot for that.
Which one?
But, the American Andrew Gordon.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But, I said last night I thought Keith's Angels might be my pick for the worst.
See, the thing about Keith, though, is I feel like in a season absent of the veterans versus newbies twist, I don't think he does poorly. I think that in a regular season, I think he does okay. I mean, I think that's the story of someone that is in a situation where there's two very rigidly defined teams from the start. The HOH comp happens to benefit one team particularly, and he's the strongest person on the other team and gets evicted because of it. That's a lethal draw. Keith had a lethal draw. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I think he would have done fine in a season absent of that twist. Not great, but, at least not the worst.
All right. Well, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Joey will be my guest on Rob Has a Podcast this upcoming Monday. I will speak to her on Monday morning. CBS is closed for business on Friday the 4th for the 4th of July. So when they're back up and running on Monday, I will have my exit interview with Joey, and then I'll speak to the second person evicted from Big Brother on our normal time slot on Friday morning. So look for that on robhasawebsite.com. Speaking of Joey's interviews, was her interview with Julie Chen one of the most awkward in the show's history?
Yeah, it was super awkward.
Yeah. Why? Why did you feel like there was a disconnect between them?
I mean, I don't know. I just think that Joey she's so clueless about the game in general. I don't think she knows anything about the show. I don't think she knows how to handle the interview. I don't think she just gets a Chenterview 101.
Yeah. Well, if you were going to teach a Chenterview 101, what would you say would be the key points that you would try to teach somebody?
I mean, just nod along, don't try to knock her off her cue. Don't don't just interact with the audience at random. Don't do all this kind of stuff. Don't do that. It's very, she doesn't like to be knocked off her cue. So I could see that her talking to the audience wouldn't be good.
Yeah. Let's talk about Joey and Alex. Brian, did you think that Alex was edited about the way it went down in the house?
Of course. I mean, listen to it on the live feeds. You're listening to it at one volume, and then she busts into the room screaming. It gets kind of annoying. So that's the only effect from it you don't get, I believe.
Ian, did you think there was any merit to what she was trying to pull?
No. I mean, there was no. It was done. It was a done deal. She played too hard, too fast. It didn't work. It was never gonna work. I mean, here's someone. This wasn't because of a bad draw. I mean, you could argue that because Donnie won veto is the only reason she went tonight. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think that this was. I think it was a well-deserved first boot.
Okay, I think that is fair. I think that's a pretty fair call for
Mainly because I don't think the reasons that Donnie was put up in the first place was because he was bad. Like Donnie goes this week, he's certainly not in contention for the worst, not even close. Just happened to be he's older, fell off the thing as the first guy off. Gets put up for no reason, and then just, not much of a leg to stand on, and he goes. Not bad, just a bad draw. But, I mean, Joey, did work to get voted out. Like, she put forth an effort there.
She was a hard-working lady. She really was. Yes. She did not stop until she was voted out of the house by a vote of 13-0. In the most votes ever cast against one player in a vote. Correct, Ian?
Because there's never been 16 people to vote to play the actual first round, and it's never been unanimous. This is by far the most.
Yeah. Okay. So why was it so important to Devin that he went around the house being like, "All right, guys, we need to have the vote be unanimous, guys. If it's not unanimous, we're gonna have problems next week because then if you vote to save her, then you're the target next week, bro."
I mean, this is typical Devin overplay. I mean, he hasn't seen the show. He doesn't, watch. He doesn't know how to handle himself. He doesn't know what he's doing. He just thinks that he's like being subtle and smart. He just sucks. He sucks at it.
Yeah, but he's good TV.
He is good TV. That's the thing. My TV screen likes seeing Devin. I like to have Devin on my TV. I like Devin winning HOH tonight because this gives like the most juicy scenarios available.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Caleb and Amber real quick, and then we'll jump into the Devin HOH. So we get a little hint of it, a little bit of a hint, and of course, well, we're going to talk more about the romances in the house when we get to your chart. Did you feel like Ian? Did they do justice to the Caleb and Amber fatal attraction?
Needed more like creepy stalker, like sound effects for my liking. I think that maybe perhaps broken glass sound effects, something like that.
When his heart broke?
It's just like a lot of creepy, like the record skip, like that's the thing. It's just like I was waiting for that like romantic music. I was just waiting for that like sound effect that you hear, like the record just like I was really waiting for that, and when it happened, I was relieved. But I think it needed a lot more painting him in like a creepy light.
Okay. Brian, do you think that this is just going to be the tip of the iceberg on the show now, and that we're going to start getting this on a regular dosage of the Amber and Caleb nomance?
I think we probably would have been getting a regular dosage of it if they could make heads or tails of it. It's just kind of been all over the place. I mean, are they going to get together or not? Is it a creepy, obsessive thing? Or is she going to stay away from him, or is she going to hang out with him? Is she going to agree to go on a date with him? What's going on with this?
Okay. All right. Well, more on that when we get to the romance part of the show. All right. Let's talk about the HOH. Okay. So Amber, one half of the nomance, that she is the new HOH, and we'll talk about things from her perspective as well. But let's start with Devin here as the HOH. And I had to separate Brian and Ian before the show because they were already arguing over whether this was a good thing or a bad thing for Devin. All right, why don't you start, Ian? For Devin, this HOH, good thing or bad thing?
For Devin, I think this could just go hilariously wrong and so right for us as viewers to be entertained here. I think this is just like the most. I went into this episode hoping for this scenario, just because if it unfolds, we are going to have a great week of feed and a great few episodes ahead of us if it plays out the right way, which I honestly think it's possible.
Okay. Brian, that sounds pretty good. Good feed, good TV? Yeah.
Well, everybody in the house is ready to backdoor Devin, so it would make sense. It would be the easy move to do, but there are so many people in the house that would actually benefit from Devin's presence, and I think given the week, some of them might actually start to think that and might try to throw some wrenches into this plan.
Do we have any idea who Devin will be looking to put up on the block? Brian, what's your take on Devin's? Where's Devin's head at right now?
Oh, any of the non-Bomb Squad members, probably Brittany. Might be because he's had it out with Brittany before. I mean,
yeah.
Makes sense. Anybody else? What about some of the non-Bomb Squad guys?
Yeah.
Well, that would be either Donnie, and so he's already said that he's not going after Donnie. He said he's... So that's
how about
no-go.
Hayden? Hayden seems like a natural target
That's
because
possible.
And by the way, Hayden was this close to winning the competition and then wiped out like right in front of the finish line. It was really, he was killing everybody. He could have taken his time, and he totally Britted it there at the end.
Yeah, it was a good wipeout.
It was a big wipeout.
Here's the line. Here's what like there's the potential for this week to get really interesting is as of last night, it seemed to me from what I saw in the feeds that Devin was the unanimous house target going into tonight. That whoever was going to try, whoever won it was going to be trying to get Devin out, and that was the end of the story. The play here is to convince him to try to make a big move and get Hayden and whoever else would be strong out of the residual non-bomb squatters up for nomination, and then have the other person make the weakest noms that they could. Amber would make weak noms, and have the Devin nomination set win the Battle of the Block, making him unable to play for his own safety in the Battle of the Block and eligible for backdoor. That is the play here. If you truly want Devin out, that's what's got to happen.
But isn't part of that plan, don't you have to have somebody manipulating Amber? Like, who's in Amber's ear this whole time?
Or that's great for Amber. You want Amber to have the weakest knowledge possible because then she gets to retain her HOH. You need to have someone in Devin's ear.
Yeah, but why is Amber going to go ahead with backdooring Devin?
She's in on that. I mean, last night I watched the feed and she seemed to be on board for trying to get rid. She was in the unanimous let's get rid of Devin train.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everyone wants Devin out.
They don't even talk about it together, and they're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm sort of on the fence of here. So this is something that happened on the live feeds before the show aired tonight. So we've seen things in the house that are from past this on the live feeds, but they haven't shown it. Chat room, you tell me, is this something that we should be? Is this something we want to talk about right now, or do the people who only care about the TV show? I'm going to give people the option because I think this is important to talk about for this discussion. What's your take on this, Ian? Is that spoiler or not spoiler?
I don't think it's a spoiler because in my mind, the spoilers reset on Thursday. That's the thing.
I tend to agree on that also.
Unless there's like an HOH spoiler, but obviously we know who that is. Spoilers reset on Thursday. We're as caught up as we're ever going to get.
That's pretty fair. Brian, is that you're involved with people on Twitter in the spoiler community already? You buy that?
Of course I buy that. I'm down with spoilers. I mean, if they review it on the next show, then they just review it on the next show.
Yeah.
All right. Chat room says all right, everybody in the chat room they all unanimously agreed. So all right, go ahead, Ian, take it away. Why does the house want to backdoor Devin?
Well, last night he called a house meeting, and he got up in front of the entire house, aside from the people that were sleeping. So, like Donnie, he admits, he's like, he starts bawling, and he's like, I want to walk out of here with my integrity, and I want that 15 years from now, my daughter can watch the tapes and know that I played with integrity. I admit I threw Donnie under the bus last week. I forced Caleb into making that nomination so that Donnie would get evicted. I was leading him on. I feel horrible about it and know that I'm going to be playing this game with integrity because only one person's going to walk out of here with $500,000, and I want to be able to leave with my integrity intact, and that's all I got to say. And then he just starts bawling, runs up the spiral staircase and into the HOH bathroom to cry.
That's pretty good. Brian, why did Devin do these things?
It's even more epic than that. Before all that started, Christine and Nicole are up in the HOH room, like on the spy cam, watching the spy cam, and talking about how weird Amber is and Nicole wants to get her out. And like, why does she keep running up here? Like, well, what she was doing was trying to get rid of Devin. And then Devin come up there and tries to confront Amber about what he heard her say, and he told Caleb that she said about him that was pissing Caleb off. And Christine and Nicole ran out, but Nicole got stopped by Devin, who told her not to leave, and then he shushed her, and she finally got out. So they're all ready to get rid of him. And then he goes to wake up Donnie and tells him all about his plan to get rid of him. And so Zach hears all of that and then goes and tells Caleb. So basically what he did was kind of drive Caleb and Amber back together, and then that house meeting went down while they were talking and kind of having their first date in a way.
Whoa.
Hey.
This is huge. Okay, so who is leading the charge against Devin at this point?
Anybody you talk to. It's everybody's secret plan.
Everybody wants him gone. I mean, like last night, it was pretty much just like you'd be on one feed and they go, Devin next week, and then they go, that's not even a discussion. They'd go to another feed, and then it would be like, Yeah, we got to get Devin next week, right? And it's like, oh yes, Devin is definitely the target next week. There was not one person in the entire house who was in Devin's corner, and I think this is why this twist was created. Like, this is the week where we get to see people play. I just want to see people come up with crazy moves and think about things and think of ways to use the twist to their advantage, like they did last year with MVP. Like when Aaron won second HOH last year, I was like, this is where it gets interesting, because now she could just get this whole thing blown up in her face because she makes these nominations and then someone she's aligned with goes home. And that's exactly what happened. And it was interesting to watch that not work out for her. And I think it's the same thing here, where I think that Devin could walk out the door on Thursday if someone is smart and really takes this by the handle, Devin could go.
But do you see Amber playing that big of a game in the early stages?
What? I don't see what game she has to play. Put up 2 weak people. That's the standard thing.
Yeah. Now, is there going to be a battle for who gets to put up the weakest people? Like, I see people. What's that?
They break the egg and they draw the chips.
Okay. And that's what it comes down to?
That's who gets to nominate first.
Okay. Boy, that's tough stuff. So this is going to come down to an egg. This is going to come down to the battle of the block, and then ultimately it's going to come down to the veto.
Yeah, big egg draw this week. I mean, it's pretty crucial.
Big egg draw. Who's the number one egg? Who's the number one pick in the nominations if you're going for weak players?
I mean, I would say Paola and Jocasta probably.
Yeah. See, here's the thing though. For Devin, it's like all the weak players are all also not in the bomb squad. So those are his targets anyway.
Right. And here's the play. It's risky as heck, but you get Devin to put up Hayden, and who's not in the bomb squad that's seems competent that I would want to win that challenge. I'm not playing with my life. I'm playing with someone else's. I say Hayden and Nicole, they have good chemistry. I say get him to put up Hayden and Nicole. He had a little beef with Nicole yesterday. Put those 2 up. Hayden and Nicole play against Paola and Jocasta. Hayden and Nicole win it handily. Devin is dethroned as HOH. Hayden and Nicole are immune, so that's good. And then Devin is a backdoor option. I mean, this is. But
why would Devin do that?
Because he's an idiot.
I guess so. But I don't know. Well, why would he target?
That is not. I mean, you don't have to be Dan to pull this one off. You go upstairs and say, "Oh, it's a big move. It's a big move." Just have Cody, who seems to have good ties with that, or any Zach even, to make this play. I mean, this is why this twist exists. This is why this has to happen. Like, this is where it gets interesting, and I want to see it happen. I think it's very possible. I think he could easily put up someone like Nicole and Hayden and then just have the whole thing backfire on him. I think that we could see his demise.
Brian, what do you think? You think we're going to see something like that?
Well, what if Devin nominates first and steals those nominations, steals his weak nominations, and it can't be thrown, and he ends up. I mean, what's the possibility that he ends up being the HOH? Is nobody positioning themselves for that possibility? Because I don't think it's 50-50, right? If you're going to have people possibly throwing it, but there's still a chance.
Well, here's what it really should be. Hopefully, the egg draw works out such that he goes second and takes the Paola, Jocasta, like the easy picks right off the table. He's not going for Donnie, so he doesn't have a big pool to work with there anyway. I mean, I think this is where it gets really interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays out. That's my take on this. And I think we could easily see Devin going home this week.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a fun week no matter what. So, let's see. You want to talk about the relationships in the house, Ian?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, let's go to this. All right, so we've been talking about this. This is such a season of star-crossed love in the Big Brother
It's
house.
romance at its worst, Rob.
Yes, for the hopeless romantics. And so Ian Terry, a hopeless romantic himself, has been tracking all of the romances and nomances and potential showmances happening in the house. And now he's going to talk us through what he's been working on here. So, Ian, could you walk us through, and again, there's going to be a lot of people who are just listening to the audio of this. Talk us through what you've put together in your Hopeless Romantics Guide to Big Brother 16.
So basically, this is a chart that shows us the 10 people that are showmantically linked in some way at any point in time thus far this season. And basically, I have two different types of arrows that each mean a different thing. So if it only has one head to the arrow, that indicates one-way interest or a non-mutual crush. While a double-headed arrow basically means that it seems like there's mutual interest there, at least in some way. Now, it's color-coded such that a blue arrow means it's active, gray means it's defunct, but they're on good terms, and red means that it's defunct and they're on not-so-good terms. Also,
by the way, I will post this on robhasawebsite.com on the show page of this, so you can don't worry about it if you can't see it perfectly in the Google Hangout.
Right, and the other thing that we have here is that I did have arrow thickness as intensity, though, yeah. So
arrow girth?
Right, so basically that was there. There were a lot of people that complained about it because it's difficult to tell one level of thickness from another unless it's extreme. I mean, like, that's the thing is I had it so that one was much thicker than another one, at least how it looked to me, but once I posted it, it didn't come out that way. So I just all set them to the same size except for the most obvious one, which is the Caleb and Amber region of the chart, which is kind of off on its own.
What about arrow length? Is that as important as thickness, or is the thickness more important than the length?
Right. This is not like vectors in your physics class. It is all about this is all about girth, Rob.
Okay. More important than length.
Yes. Much more important. Yes.
All right. So, all right, talk us through where do you want to start here to explain this?
Well, let's just start off with the Caleb and Amber side because that's the easiest one to explain, right?
Okay.
So we have an arrow from Caleb towards Amber, but it isn't double-headed. So it means that Caleb likes Amber, but it's not returned. And now it's gray. A couple days ago, I'd have had it as red, but there was a discussion last night where they seem to be all right with each other for now. So that's just defunct, but they're on okay terms. I mean, it's thick, so he has it bad for her, but, you know, not doing so well for Caleb. Not looking good.
Okay. All right, and there's no other connections to Caleb and Amber.
Right. They are off on their own. Now, the other side is where it gets really interesting. So I think the most logical way to start here would be, we'll start with the Zanky pairing, right?
Okay, Frankie and Zach.
Yes. So as you can see, there's a blue double-headed arrow between these two. There's been a lot of discussion that Zach is into Frankie and that Frankie seems like he would be down to make out with Zach and vice versa. So, you know, there's been a lot of flirtation between the two, a lot of cuddling and things like that. So I think that that's a pretty interesting thing. I'd say there's seemingly mutual interest there. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think it was worth noting on the chart that there seems to be at least some sort of interest there.
What's going on there in your mind? Is that, I mean, in your mind, is it just is there romantic interest? Is it Zach playing Frankie? Is Zach being seduced?
Yeah, see, this is the thing. That's the biggest fault of the chart, I think, is that it does not account for people perhaps using romance and interest to further their game. It doesn't show how genuine it is by any circumstance. But I think that this is just two guys, one that are just having some outrageous fun. If you've ever seen that YouTube video, I highly recommend looking it up.
Which YouTube video? Outrageous Fun?
Outrageous Fun.
Okay.
Outrageous Fun.
All right. All right. So let's jump back into the chart. All right. Take us through the rest of it here.
Yeah, so I think the next logical place would be from the Nicole corner. So Siri, we have like this, I have it as mutually double-headed between her and Hayden, but it is defunct. It's gray. And the reason I say that is because from my observation, it looked to me as if she was into Hayden at some point, but then Hayden kind of said, like, I don't really do dating. I don't think I could ever be tied down. And then she became disinterested. Shortly after that, Hayden became more interested in her, and it just got kind of awkward between the two. And I have it as defunct. Now, they staged a scuffle the other night where they said that they wouldn't talk to each other to avoid being targeted together as a showmance, and I think that it's working. But they are still working together. But they agreed to not hang out as much and pretend that there's a lot of awkwardness between them. I think that at some point she was into him, and I think that subconsciously she still might be, because she cried after staging the scuffle. She said it was about her family. Do I believe that? I'm not sure. And I honestly think that she, even if she doesn't want to believe it, I think she does at least like him in some way, possibly as friends, possibly as something more. I don't know. But I said double-headed. I could see it. And he legitimately cares about her, which I think is the only guy on this chart that I would say that for.
Okay, let's jump into the middle part of the chart with the
Right.
all of the people orbiting around Cody.
Right. So I guess we could say Zach kind of likes Nicole. At least he seemed to. But so Cody is in the middle of the chart. He had Victoria, Paola, and Nicole, who is kind of like they do a little bit of cuddling every once in a while after him. And it seems like Brittany likes him, but doesn't want to acknowledge that she does because her kids are watching. So he returns that more to Brittany and Nicole than anyone else. And we saw at 6:30 a.m. Like the butt crack of dawn the other day, where Brittany and Cody have a conversation together, and then all of a sudden Cody, in any strategic discussion, starts to try to sort of like take up Brittany's side and try to divert nomination attention away from her. My speculation is that he is actually interested in Brittany. It's just that there's sort of romantic tension between the two.
Yeah, I saw a conversation that they had where they were talking about whether or not she was a cougar or not, and whether he likes cougars.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I do think that he's into her at least enough to merit a double arrow. And we did have those DRs where they stared longingly at each other, so I felt that it was enough to warrant that.
Okay. Anything else from the romance chart?
I guess we should point out that although Victoria liked Cody, Cody and Zach do not like her, and Zach said last night that he wants to destroy her life.
Wait, say that. So Zach wants to destroy Victoria's life?
Yes, he went on a huge rant yesterday about how much he hates Victoria, and his new goal in the game is to ruin Victoria's life.
Brian, why is that? Why does Zach want to ruin Victoria's life?
He says that she is stuck up, full of herself. She throws him looks that he doesn't like. He thinks she's a spoiled little brat, I believe is something he said. He compared her to rich kids in Florida that he knew, but he said that
not Pine Lawn, not Frankie, right?
Right. He said it was disrespectful to the rich kids in Florida to compare them to her.
Okay. Ian, is this a troubling sign for Zach's game that he's worried about ruining Victoria's life?
Well, I mean, she doesn't appear to be very popular in the house, so I don't know. It is what it is. Take it or leave it.
Okay. I have to say we're about a week and change from, I guess, a week ago tonight, the Big Brother live feeds came on. And, Brian, we've been largely free of Big Brother inappropriate comments and any sort of the drama that we had last year. What do you think is the cause for that? Has this cast just been much better behaved than the Big Brother 15 cast in the early going?
I believe that they showed them Big Brother 15 and that they're on their best behavior.
Yeah,
That they're conscious of it.
I haven't heard a whisper of an inappropriate comment.
There's actually been some positive comments. Caleb and Jocasta were talking about how wrong it is for churches to exclude gay people, and Jocasta said that's just not love. So they're conscious of a whole bunch of things, and they're trying to be very inclusive of all sorts of people, I guess.
Okay, so far so good for the Big Brother 16 cast. I got into this a little bit. I think it's a fun idea. Let's just run it down. I want to do the weak player power rankings. Could we run through that real quick? All right, in the weak player power rankings, who's number one and most likely to be nominated if we're just going purely by who is going to be weak in the competitions?
Paola.
Paola, I agree. Number one with a bullet. Second straight week, number one in the weak player power rankings. Who's number two in the weak player power rankings?
Jocasta.
Jocasta. Brian, you on board with that?
Sure, Jocasta.
Jocasta. Okay, number two in the weak player power rankings. Who's at number three in the weak player power rankings?
I think this is where it gets dicey, and I'm going to throw it out there, and I think it's Donnie we'll go with Victoria.
Victoria. Donnie has a veto under his belt.
Right, but I still think that if you're nominating residual players that, I mean, you could say Victoria has a Battle of the Block under her belt.
Yeah. Okay. Brian, are you on board with Victoria at 3 in the weak player power rankings?
I could be. My first urge was to say Nicole.
Ian, who do you want at 3? Victoria or Nicole?
I think Victoria would be more likely to be nominated as like the weak person that you want to lose Battle of the Block than I would reach for Victoria's key before I reach for Nicole's.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put Nicole at 4. Okay.
Yeah, I can live with that.
All right, and let's just put somebody at 5. Who's at 5 in the weak player power rankings?
I would say Donnie.
Donnie. No Christine?
No.
Okay.
No.
Brian, you co-sign this?
Yes, or I would have said Amber.
Amber. No, but she's the H. She just won the HOH.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think Christine and Amber did well enough in that HOH to warrant not being in this list.
Okay. Very, very, very interesting. Ian, what'd you think of the challenge tonight?
Kind of boring. Pretty predictable. I mean, I figured they were going to be carrying something back and forth based on the fact they had indoor lockdown starting yesterday at 3 p.m. BB time. So that's about how long it takes to set up a game like the barbecue sauce transfer or something like that. That was very similar to that. So, I think I predicted that they would be transporting beer across the yard in some fashion last night on Twitter, and it actually turned out to be just that. So there you go.
What did you make of the frisbee throwing part of the challenge? I thought that was an interesting twist. Did you think could you make out who was targeting who with the frisbees?
I couldn't, but I heard that Zach threw his exclusively at Victoria, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a funny thing on Sunday night if they go back and go through it and the players notice who was throwing the frisbees at who.
No doubt.
Okay. It did not seem like the frisbees threw anybody off, though.
Yeah, I think that when it's like you're throwing foam, like that's just not gonna do too much. I think your best bet is to aim at the feet and just hope that it kind of gets like caught under their foot and they just lose their balance that way. I don't know. Now, here's my thought was when I heard foul, my immediate thought was like, did somebody just like chuck a barrel at someone else right before they were about to go in for the win? Like that's what I was thinking is, I mean, sure, yeah, you'll get DQ'd, but how would they handle that if you just chucked a barrel at someone that was about to win?
I don't know. Be interesting to see. Ian, is it just me, or does it look like the budget is up on Big Brother 16?
I mean, they have a house drape. They have a curtain that looks like a house. All you got to do is throw, Greek Week on it, and then suddenly it's a rager when it was a country house last year. I mean, they use a lot of the same scenery over and over again. I mean, you can even notice some of the furniture is just the same stuff from years before. So, I mean, does it look like the Pouring 20s was amazing? Like, that's
Yeah, I think that the challenges have looked good.
But I think this year is pretty much it was all recycled stuff with like a few splotches of paint down.
Maybe did Joey ask them to recycle?
Perhaps.
Yeah, that was her lasting contribution to the show. She got Big Brother to recycle. Okay. All right, let's jump into taking your questions here. Of course, hashtag RHAP, or you can post them on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube.
Actually, before we go, there is one thing I like to bring up. I do not, under any circumstances, like this guys play for one of the HOHs, girls play for the other HOH. Don't like it at all. The reason being, this completely undermines any attempt to form an alliance all of one sex. It's like it's an unintentional screwing of an all-male alliance or an all-female alliance or something like that. I think that a random draw of chips is the only way that this setup is fair, or just like some pseudo-random smattering of players in round 1 and 2. That's my take.
Yeah, why did they have to draw numbers, as Joey talked about?
For what lane you were in. I guarantee you that's why.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's go ahead and take some of these questions from you guys here. Scott St. Pierre has got them all loaded up, and let's start with Andy Del Negro, who said, if Joey is considered the worst player ever, then what does that make Devin, who acts without thinking, and by doing this, he will be digging his own grave? All right, 2-player power rankings. Who's the better player, Joey or Devin? Who you got, Brian? Better 2-player season.
Joey's better.
Joey's better. Ian.
It remains to be seen, but as of now, I would sooner trust Joey with my life in a game of Big Brother before Devin.
There you go.
Can I change my answer?
Yes.
I just want to say, instead of Joey's better, I want to say Devin's worse.
Devin's worse. Okay. I want to say, is it like a one-day game? If it's one day, I think I would go with Devin. If they're basically playing Big Brother Media Day, I would take Devin in the 1 hour.
That's not no. The only way to evaluate this is you have to pick one to play against a random field of Big Brother contestants selected from seasons 2 to 15, and if they win, you live, and if they lose, you die. Who do you trust your life with?
I would give it to Joey. I mean, there's no chance with Devin.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Who would have been evicted today if they would have both been on the block together, though? Devin.
I mean, well, yeah, but he wasn't on the block. I mean,
exactly.
If Dan was on the block the week of the funeral against Danielle, who goes? Well, he wasn't on the block,
Okay. All right, let's take some more questions. Amazing Race Know-It-All, the always inquisitive Amazing Race Know-It-All wants to know, do you think that the male-female HOHs were pre-planned or done in order to hope to get rid of the bomb squad members as the alliance increases? Ian, do you think production wants to get rid of the bomb squad? I do not get that impression.
I certainly didn't either. I mean, I don't like that. That's the thing is I really don't like this, and I think it was just an accidental. I think it was an unintentional unfairness on the producer's part.
Okay. All right. Let's take another question. Let's go to McGurk. USC wants to know, do you think that the best plan for Amber is to choose Pow Pow and Victoria as her nominations so they will lose and she could fade back into the background of the bomb squad and let Devin hang himself? Okay. So for Amber, picking Pow Pow and Victoria, who in our power rankings, were 1 and 3 respectively. Yeah, I think we all agree this is a good plan, unless Ian is going for the real sneak attack of Devin.
I want the sneak attack. I really do. If I'm Amber, I don't know that I want to be vulnerable and eligible for nomination with Devin as HOH. That I mean, am I right on that?
Oh, I agree. I mean, if she nominates weak players, she nominates weak players, he ends up being HOH, and she's in danger.
Okay. So
no. She wants to nominate weak players because she wants to. Yeah, her players have to lose for her to win.
Okay.
Crucial egg draw this week is really what it is. And once we get into a more spoilery part of the show, there's sort of a picture that was leaked out of what was kept in storage right outside of the Big Brother house. I think I know what the game for Battle of the Black might be. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll say that for the very end of the show.
Right.
Okay. Brian, do we know what day we're gonna get nominations? And now that we're in the traditional Big Brother week.
Tomorrow, or is that not right, Ian?
Well, in a traditional BB week, tomorrow would indeed be nominations. The only thing is, nominations will probably be in the morning now and not the evening.
Do you think we will have Battle of the Block tomorrow?
I do believe so.
Okay. Oh my God, it's busy Friday on the Big Brother live feeds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to catch any of that fallout, of course, you can jump in anytime with a free trial at robhasawebsite.com/live feeds. Let's take another question. This is from Michael GM. Does the GM stand for Gina Marie? You scrubs. Rob, why didn't they show the instant replay of Cody's foot touching the floor? How can we believe that his foot touched the floor without any form of instant replay? Okay, the closest thing that I think we can compare this to is back to Big Brother Canada 1, when, was it Emmett won HOH, and then they went back and reviewed the videotape over the weekend and then stripped Emmett of his HOH. Is this the closest comparison in Big Brother history you could think of, Ian?
I mean, I think Emmett's was more intentional. I don't think Cody's foot. I don't think this was. That was obviously a little bit different. But I mean, I would hope that we get to see a little footage. I think that would be pretty nice.
Yeah. Look, we got to see the footage on Sunday night. If we see the footage on Sunday, show us. Let's go to the videotape. Show us the footage on Sunday night, and if we see Cody's foot, then we say, okay. If they don't show us anything. And when I'm sure there are going to be a lot of the people that going back and screen capping, trying to see. The problem is I don't think that Cody was on the screen when it happened. So I'm sure people are already looking for this, right?
There's some camera that saw it.
Yeah, but on the TV show, right? If you're looking for the screen cap, I don't think you're going to see Cody in the shot.
Probably not. No.
So that's
all eyes were on Hayden.
All eyes were on Hayden, and then it looked like Devin was going to win, and then they said Cody was the winner, and then so all sorts of hell broke loose.
Right. As soon as I saw Devin fall, my immediate thought was, oh wow, as soon as Hayden fell, my immediate thought was, wow, Devin is going to be HOH. Then when I heard Cody, I was like, all right, guess bullet was dodged there. And then then we hear the foul thing. I'm like, oh, here we go. So. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I gotta say I was pumped up when they said that Devin was gonna be the HOH. I said, we got a challenge booth review. Here we go, baby. I was very pumped up.
I mean, it's just like, do you like good TV?
I like good TV. Brian, you like good TV?
I love good TV.
Well, I think we're gonna have some good TV.
Yeah, we like good TV. We're team TV around here.
Yes.
We like good TV.
I want my favorites to do well, but I also don't want a foregone conclusion week because that makes things pretty boring.
Well, yeah, and you know who my favorites are? The people that are good TV. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, this is from Joey Boston, who says, aren't the house guests ever nervous about sequester in their goodbye messages? Hypothetically, what if Joey's in sequester? Well, how about... yeah.
But
Caleb's goodbye message.
I mean... I was always nervous about that, so, there you go.
Okay. Brian, did you like Caleb's goodbye message?
Other than I've heard it about 5 or 6 times already, and I didn't like it the first time, I don't really have much to say about it.
What happened to Devin? I watched Devin on the feeds over the weekend, and all he was talking about was what he was going to say to Joey. Can we just assume that he went through with all these things and they just didn't put it in the show? Of Devin, just so you know, it was my daughter's birthday, and the whole time you're. And just did Caleb do it more dramatically than Devin did?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if these messages were recorded after he had his come to integrity moment, right? He doesn't want to play the game and pour a lot anymore because his daughter, who's 2 years old, will understand that he has no integrity.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Let's go for Brent Purvis, and who celebrated a birthday this week. Ian, big fan. Who is your crush this season? I'm not a large man, but I will fight you for Nicole. Okay.
Well, see this. I have a friend who says, "Fail to plan, plan to fail." So Nicole is first and foremost my crush this season. I think that's been pretty established. She said good things about me. However, if she is not single, then I'll move on to the residual crushes that I have lined up, and that would be, I think Brittany having kids. I think that might not be the route to go. So that would actually be Victoria. Now, you may point out,
let me get the chart back up. Okay. All right. So where is Ian Terry on the chart?
So you would get one that has a one-way arrow towards Nicole, a one-way arrow towards Victoria, and a one-way arrow towards Brittany. Those three. Although I think Brittany's a little bit ambitious, so I think Victoria would be the play if Nicole is not available. Though Nicole would definitely be the prime choice.
Who gets the thicker arrow?
Nicole, easily.
Okay.
I'm much more attracted to Nicole than Victoria.
Okay.
Giving her the girth.
Yes. Yes. Very important. Okay. All right. So let's do a couple more questions here on a Big Brother Thursday night. Autumn wants to know, now that 2 Bomb Squad members are HOH, who do you think is their next target? Well, I think we have to, the Bomb Squad is really just a figment of Devin's imagination at this point. Is that correct?
Well, it's not necessarily a figment of his imagination. It's more that the Bomb Squad exists. It just doesn't include him, and he's blissfully unaware.
Got it.
Right.
So, is he the target of the Bomb Squad, or are they just going to bide their time to get rid of him?
He's the target of everyone.
He's the bomb.
He is.
But
I mean, here's the thing, man. It's like this week. It's gonna be really interesting to see how it plays out. Now, are we in the live feed portion of the show? Can I talk about spoilers?
Okay, yeah. Well, hold on. The buzzer is not working. That Dominic dropped it on the floor, but we're. I thought you already said on Thursday there are no spoilers though.
Well, but now there's the live feed, which has been running, so there is a spoiler.
All right, so the feeds are back up, and you have reports from the feeds.
Correct.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
We have heard that if Devin has his way, his nomination set will be Paola and Brittany.
Paola and Brittany. Okay, Brittany, who did not make the Pow Power rankings.
She's in good shape, yo. I don't see how that's. I mean, that's like what I mean, like residual weak person. Like, I mean, Nicole is certainly weaker, but she's certainly not like a sure. That's not a sure loss. I mean, this is not anything. So I mean, that's what we've heard, and I think that. If he could just be swayed to do something stupid with his nom set, or if he draws chip 2 and gets to nominate second, he could be in a world of hurt here, and that's an exciting prospect.
Okay, and then do we know who Amber is going to target? And is the Bomb Squad going to then use Amber to get their agenda going?
They're going to try.
Okay, and who are they going to nominate?
They're going to have to discuss that. They just have, in brainstorming scenarios, they have said whoever when it comes to it, right? Two people and then whoever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see exactly what they end up doing, and we'll find out, of course, on Sunday night. By the way, Sunday night, Judd from BB15 will be joining us
Oh,
here on
nice,
the
nice.
podcast. So fun stuff. And by the way, we are going to be talking with Ian. Somebody from Big Brother 14 will be joining us on the Wednesday show.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Well, who's good? I don't know. There's a lot of great choices there.
A lot of great choices. We'll be joined by the lovely Cara Monaco. Will make her RHAP
Oh,
debut on Wednesday. So we've got a busy week, and then back to Ian on Thursday. So fun
should be
fun
good.
week fun week of Big Brother coming up here. Of course,
That's
then
exciting.
Joey on Monday, and then I'll talk to the second person booted. Maybe it'll be Devin on Friday on RHAP. So crazy week coming up. Okay, let's go to AB says, is this going to be another season of boring, unanimous votes so to not go against the House?
I mean, I always get, kind of, I guess you could say, frazzled by this idea. It's like I don't necessarily think a unanimous vote is always boring. I mean, I think tonight it was, but I mean, sometimes a unanimous vote's just a unanimous vote, and that's the way it happens. I don't necessarily think that it's good to see one person sticking their neck out all the time just to make it not unanimous and set themselves up as a target. I think that makes it boring to me as a viewer. I mean, yeah, you get to stand your ground. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily like that. I think that if the game plays itself out naturally, it's going to be entertaining, and that's what it's going to be. So if it's a unanimous vote, let that be what happens.
Brian, do you called a 12-1 last night, right?
Correct. I thought there was going to be a hinky vote.
Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't get. Does the unanimous vote bother you?
Well, no, because I kind of look at it like high drama equals lopsided votes, and if there's not a lot of drama, sometimes you get close votes.
Okay. Let's take a few more questions here tonight on a Thursday night. Brian, by the way, did we ever get the RHAP chat room up and going on the live feeds?
Actually, there's about 3 or 4 already.
We need to unify. We can't have 3 or 4. We need to figure that out. Okay. Can we merge them?
I'm sure somebody needs to be in control of it before we name it, because someone else will open it up or whatever.
Okay.
But whatever y'all want to do.
Do we need to appoint an RHAP live feed chat room czar to sort of figure out the issues?
Well, like a room monitor or something.
All right. Email me, rob@robhasawebsite.com if you're interested in working on that project. Okay. Michael Pierce wants to know, would you say that Joey's exit interview was one of the most awkward ever? I would say it was. Ian, who holds the record for most awkward interview of all time?
I was pretty up there. I mean, oh man, whose was just not fun to watch?
Braden.
Yeah, that was really awkward. Holy moly. Yeah. That was odd. That was an awkward one. I mean, the Aaron one was pretty awkward too, and it's in a different way.
Yeah, that was a different kind of awkward. Mitch Richmond in the chat room reminds me, Rob, you haven't touched on Team America yet. Yeah, so that's right. So Donnie is the new member of Team America. Somebody posted on Twitter, are the Ariana Grande followers on Twitter, are they asleep at the switch? What's going on here?
Teen girls don't want to have to register in order to vote.
Is this what the issue? It's almost sort of like where they're trying to have like voter registration laws where that they make you like try to take a test and try to keep people from voting. That's what's happening, and that they don't want to register on CBS.com and win gold coins.
Yes, that's what I've been. That seems to be the most plausible explanation going, and I agree with it. I think that's probably why.
Brian, you like gold coins?
I do like gold coins, but this explanation makes sense to me, that just the way it's set up kind of doesn't lend the vote to people other than people that are already registered, right?
Interesting. So the CBS.com registration, you think, is holding back the Ariana Grande Nation not willing to register at CBS.com?
Right, because think about it. The people that were shoving the Alyssa votes into the ballot box last time, they're already registered for CBS.com, or they cared enough about the show because Rachel and Alyssa, that's show related. You go on Twitter, some 12-year-old kid that's watching, I don't know, Rugrats or Cat Dog or whatever they watch. They see it and they see, on Twitter, vote for Frankie. Then they get to CBS.com. It's like register. Send what's your email address, confirm your registration. They're like, well, I don't have time for that, and then they just give up.
Oh my God, is Rugrats still a popular show?
I don't know. I haven't watched Nickelodeon in I don't know. I'm 23, so 10, 12 years, 10 or 11 years now.
In all seriousness, so there is also some news from the Grande family. Really, Rick in the chat room is talking about how the Pray for Grandpa Grande hashtag was trending. Also, Antonio Mazzaro had tweeted to me that somebody, I think it was it Questlove, was saying that he was sending prayers to Ariana Grande, who had to cancel something that she was supposed to be working on. So I think that the Grande father of Ariana Grande, I think is dealing with health issues right now. So yeah, again, we only wish the best to the family of Frankie and Ariana Grande, and that would be. Has there ever been outside of Monica from Big Brother 2? How would they handle that in the Big Brother house? If there was a death in the family.
They would certainly tell whoever it was. I mean, Neil left for some personal reason that we will never know. Could have been a death in the family from Big Brother 9.
Okay, there you go. So they would tell the person in the diary room.
Oh yes, almost certainly.
And they leave it up to them.
If there were a death in the family, yeah, without any doubt of it.
Okay, all right. There you go. Yes, and no, if I said the dad, I did not the grandfather.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, here we go. Let's take some more questions. Harry Levinson wants to know, how bad must Devin's goodbye message to Joey have been for them not to show it? Well, what if it was just the same thing as what Caleb was saying?
Probably. I mean, you want to have a mix, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's do a couple more. This is from Dan, who wants to know. Dan Sinensky says, "Will Big Brother come up with a better description of people than the liberal at any time this season?"
That was really dumb. I don't think that somebody's political affiliation should define them. I mean, I certainly think that she had blue hair. I mean, that's more defining than the liberal. You didn't see them saying, and then the libertarian won HOH. I don't know. That's just not interesting to me. I don't care about that.
Okay. All right. Let's take a few more. Semi-Charmed 14 says, Robin Ian, do you think that Hayden threw the HOH competition? I think he may have fell last minute on purpose. If he threw the HOH competition, then why the heck did he try so hard?
Yeah, kind of awkward, right? For him to have been way in the lead, right? I mean, there's less conspicuous ways to throw it if that's what happens there.
Yeah, that was odd. Let's see. Let's go to WMMJBI59 says, Amber is already saying she will not put up girls or Donnie. So who can she put up, and would this be not smart? Okay. Well, okay, if she's not putting up girls or Donnie, well, then somebody from the bomb squad.
Bomb squad.
But
who from the bomb squad would go up?
See me face palming over here? That's just, I mean, just throw it away. Just let Devin be HOH, and then put yourself in a vulnerable position. What are you even thinking, lady? Holy moly! Is she even in the bomb squad when you're doing things like that? I don't know.
Okay. This is from Carrie Stoner, who wants to know, do you think that Caleb will lose his mind that Devin and Amber will share a room? Uh-oh. Could there be jealousy?
I mean, they get their own rooms, but I wouldn't doubt if Caleb is watching like a hawk.
Okay. Yeah, he's gotta watch that. Gotta watch that. I believe that in the first night of the show, when the first 8 came in, I believe Amber did say that Devin was totally her type.
He did, or she did say that, yes.
Oh boy. Okay. Interesting. Colin Stone asks me on Twitter, if we were drafting a winner today, who are you picking? All right, Brian, we'll start with you. Who's your winner pick today?
Derek.
Derek. Okay. Ian.
Cody was my preseason winner pick that I locked in, and I'm going to stick with Cody as my winner pick, though I do like Derek as a pick, Christine. I think those three collectively holding like 80 of 100, not 80, but 60 or 70 of 100 winner chips right now if you were to have like a drawing.
Okay. Christine was my pick. I'm gonna stick with Christine until she gives me a reason not to.
Yeah.
Okay. And Keith Dixon wants to know, Ian, in your interview with Big Jeff, you said your picks of who was likely to win were Cody, Zach, Donnie, and Nicole. How are you feeling about those picks now? Well, you just talked about Cody. You mentioned Derek. What about Zach, Donnie, and Nicole?
I feel pretty good about those picks. Really comfortable that those, if I'm going to throw 4 out there, I still think that those are 4 that are really in a good, contention to do well in the game. So, hey, I'm really happy with my picks so far. Couldn't be more pleased about it.
Okay. Also, Alex Wilpon is reporting on Twitter that Ariana Grande released a new single yesterday, which is like #1 on the pop chart. So, okay, so it's truly the best of times and the worst of times right now with the Grande family. Brian, what is the status of that? That do people know about that? Who Frankie's sister is or not?
In the house?
Yeah.
No.
What is
no,
he
because
told
we even saw it. One person asked him about his sister, and he just kind of made up. I forget it. I don't even know what he said, but he just played it off very well. So he's been really good at what he's doing. I mean, he's been a really good player. He's really entertaining. He kind of disarms people when he's around them. So they don't really get into talking too much and interrogating him because they're having too much fun around him.
Okay, and last question, let's take from Isabella Smith. You have the last word. This season, I think the housemates don't know too much about gameplay. Do you think that they could really pull off a big move? This is an interesting question, Ian. Do you think that players who don't know a lot about the game are more likely or less likely to attempt big moves?
Well, here's the thing. I think let's just say big move means good move here. I mean, I don't want it to be...
No, I disagree. Big move does not mean good move.
No. But let's say here, I don't want this to be big equals brash. I think that when they say big move, I think that they're saying like a big move that's good. I don't think big move always equals good move for sure. But I mean, I think that, like, at least as far as my line of thinking that I have, I think that that's a move that's good. I think that that's a good big move for like Amber and people that would be in the bomb squad. I think Devin going should be at the top of their priorities. Because, hey, why not?
I think there's 2 schools of thought here with this, and I don't mean to cut you off. So I think there's 2 schools of thought. I think there's you could have a season where you have like the returning players who all really, really know how to play the game, and then you have people who are with them and they don't know what to do, and they sort of just go into panic freeze mode and become people who are sort of afraid to make moves. And you see like returning players sort of do very well, and only the really good of the new players will go on to make a big move. And then you could have seasons of all newbies, and there could be a lot of big moves, which many of them turn out to be bad moves because they don't know that they're making bad moves. And you could have people taking sort of like big swings up at the plate because they're like, hey, got to make big moves, got to win the game.
Right. And, I mean, the way that I interpret the question is, do you think that this set of players is smart enough to make a move that is correct, complex, but correct, And I think that, sure, I mean, there's got to be some cream's going to rise to the top here. I mean, let's be real. Somebody's got to be good here, and somebody's got to figure out how to play this game, even if they're not the most experienced. Now, the other thing is, I guess when I sit there and I lay out this, grand scheme to get Devin out, and then we see things like Amber is thinking about nominating, Derek or someone like that. This is what I call like the curse of knowledge just setting in, where I mean, I'm always expecting something like what I laid out to happen because I feel like that's what's rational. I feel like that's what the best move. It's like I give too much credit to the Amber type that doesn't really know what to do, and that's, the curse of knowledge. That's why it's called that. I have a difficult time it's difficult to pretend you don't know the things that you already know. That's the curse of knowledge.
Okay. All right. So, Brian, any thoughts on this before we start to wrap up?
So I just think that the writing's on the wall here that Devin may end up being the HOH, and next week not being able to compete in the HOH competition. That would be the week to take him out.
That is true. That's
so
true.
Getting on his side would be a priority at this point to make sure you have some kind of influence over his nominations. I don't think there's any other way out, considering that Amber's she's going to put up Bomb Squad, the dudes in the Bomb Squad.
But is that even?
You have no other option. If you're a dude in the Bomb Squad, you cannot allow that to happen. You have to stick with Devin at this point. Anything else is a bad move, in my opinion.
Why not just backdoor him?
Where is he going? I almost feel like getting rid of Devin, though. It's like when they got rid of Kyle on Big Brother Canada. It's like, where is Devin hiding? Like, why? Devin is gonna implode. Devin's gonna go out at some point. What's the rush to get rid of him this week?
If Amber's going to nominate big players, she's not going to be HOH. Devin's going to be the HOH.
Right.
Devin is not a threat.
If I'm Amber, I don't want to hand Devin HOH and be in a position where I'm vulnerable.
I don't either, but she's talking about it already.
I don't think that's a good idea, and she's already talking about it because she doesn't know what she's doing.
But I feel like if Devin is gonna use his HOH to get Brittany out of the game, just let him do that this week, and then let somebody else get rid of him next week.
That's the way I feel, man.
Why destabilize everything to get Devin out when he's going to go out either next week or the week after?
I think that there's room to play here, and I think that, I feel like this is a really good shot to just not give him a chance to defend himself with the battle of the block and the veto, and I feel like this is a golden opportunity to use this twist to its full potential.
Yeah. I know we want to see big moves made.
I want good TV.
We want good TV. We like good TV. All right, so we'll see if we get our good TV on Sunday night. We'll talk with Judd from BB15. That should be a very, very fun show. Hope you guys join us. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll see the videos at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube, or you can subscribe to our Big Brother podcast feed at robhasawebsite.com/BB podcast or robhasawebsite.com/iTunes. It's the 4th of July weekend coming up, so hope everybody has a very happy and safe weekend. Please, no playing with the fireworks if you don't know what you're doing, and please remember not to drink and drive this weekend as well. We've got a couple days left. We have the Rob Has a Podcast T-shirt, which we put out during the fall. If you wanted to check that out, there we opened it up. A lot of people had been asking for them. There's still 5 days left if you want to get a Rob Has a Podcast T-shirt your way. They're $16. We're also donating $1 for each T-shirt sold to Autism Speaks. If you want to see more about that, you can go to robhasawebsite.com/t-shirt. Okay. So big weekend. Judd Sunday night, Joey on Monday. Ian, thank you so much for your chart and all of your knowledge tonight.
Well, thank you for having me, Rob.
Yes. And Brian, thank you as well. What are you looking forward to seeing on the live feeds tonight?
Oh my gosh! I mean, just more drama. I think actually, what I expect to see is everybody kissing Devin's butt.
It'll be fun, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out tonight as well. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. Everybody have a great 4th to those of you in the U.S. To those of you in Canada, happy belated Canada Day. And to everybody in the rest of the world, then just have a good weekend. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.